If it bleeds, we can kill it. Here's your look at the brand new Hiya Toys Predator Jungle Predator version 2 Battle Damaged Exquisite Mini. Exquisite Mini is a new standard settings series for 1/18th scale, featuring super articulation action figures under Hiya Toys. Coming out of the jungle and into your collection space. Before we get a closer look at the Jungle Hunter version 2, let me first thank the folks over at Hiya Toys that did in fact provide this sample that we could have a look at in this video. Next, what we're going to do is going to grab the ruler just to see how tall the Jungle Hunter version 2 stands, and it seems to be about 4 3/4 of an inch or about 12 centimeters tall. Running through the accessories that come included with this Yaucha, first of all, the figure comes included with a display stand. Longtime viewers to this channel or longtime collectors of Hiya Toys Exquisite Mini Predators will already recognize this type of muddy terrain, as it seems to be all the same type of display stand we've gotten with every single Predator release that gets slightly then changed that metal floor grading when we have a look at the alien figures. Another one of my favorite things that Hiya Toys are putting out. In both the cases, they are the same rectangular display stand, and in both the cases, they have the peg on the one side, and you can attach that to the underside of the figure's feet, and in all the cases as well, they have the little slots on the bottom here. So what you do with these slots, I know by now you guys already know the drill. You take these little eye brackets that come included with them, and you plug them in on the one side, and then providing you got yourself a secondary display stand, you can attach it next to that this way, this way, this way, and continue to grow your diorama display, depending on just how many of these stands you have to go around. I always like the fact that you can expand out them. Or if you want to just keep it standalone, you can certainly make use of these to keep the figure from falling over. The figure does have a bit of a top heaviness issue. He also has a bit of a warped foot. I don't know if you can kind of see on that one side. His feet aren't completely leveled flat. We're going to talk more about that in a second. Up next, the figure also comes included with a removed skull and spinal cord. Really like the look of that. I have believed we have gotten these before, perhaps maybe not in this color. It's a very bright yellow that they've actually used here, and added a darker wash of paint to help fill in the details. It's a really nice looking piece. This yellow, by the way, will come back to us as we have a look at the rest of the things that are on the Predator, mainly the bones that are around his torso. Before doing that, though, the figure also comes included with some swappable hands. Trying not to drop this one, he comes with just a closed gripping hand. It's not even really a gripping hand, it's just a closed fist hand. As you can see, there's no hole in there to hold anything. That can clip onto this side of the figure's body. And then on the adjacent side, the figure also comes included with a gripping hand, suitable for of course, holding the spinal cord. You just have to kind of pry the fingers away from the palm. It's such tiny little accessories to come included with these. But yeah, you just take the spinal cord, you can attach it into his hand and have him holding it like this. The thing about it, though, is that this particular hand, careful again not to drop it, goes actually to this side of the figure's body. So when you are changing out the figure's hands, for example, you're going to have to change the one that comes out the side that has the gauntlet blade. The gauntlet blade, by the way, is extendable. It's a little hard to kind of get this in and just kind of pull this out and change it with the alternate hands. Just go ahead and wiggle this back and forth. Careful, careful, careful while you're doing this. And just remove it from the peg. I don't know why I'm having a difficult time doing this right now, but the idea is that when you do finally free it, you can replace it with this hand and you can actually have him holding the spinal cord with skull. Putting those to the side, getting a closer look now at Predator version 2, specifically Jungle Hunter version 2, my ideal Predator design. What was really like the look of the Jungle Hunter. I gotta say, like, I'm really impressed with the version 2 releases, because now they're actually going back kind of to the original Predator figures we've gotten before, and they're making them a lot more bigger and bulkier. If you remember a long time ago when we really started looking at these Exquisite Minis, the Predators were a little more lankier in build. Now they have beefed up their build, not maybe to the same size as like the AVP Predators that are already big, bulky football players, but definitely I do appreciate the fact that the bodies now are a lot bigger on these figures. I'm going to spin this around so you can see it from all the sides. Of course, big giant plasma caster, shoulder-mounted cannon there. This does have posability, by the way. You can rotate this back and forth this way, and it does have a hinge joint, although the hinge joint is really, really tight on this, so I really don't want to break it by mistake. Getting a closer look at the head sculpt here, you can see already it's got a little bit of damage there in between the sections of its eyes. Really like the detail that they did sculpt into the head sculpt here. And of course, it has the long dreads that basically just envelop everything. I've got a few of these dreads that I'm going to probably have to even remove the head sculpt just to kind of get them around, because they're sort of just draping over top of the plasma caster. Really nice detail, by the way, on the shoulder-mounted cannon. Talking a little bit about some of the things I'm not as crazy about. First of all, going back to that lemon yellow color we looked at with the spinal cord, sort of carries over here as well with the bones that he's got wrapped around his torso. He's got what seems to be a spinal cord, little tiny skulls, and then he's got also a necklace as well. I feel like the colors are perhaps a maybe tad too bright. I would have gone more the route of maybe going a cream or off bone color. I feel like the coloring here perhaps is a bit too jarring for the rest of the more neutral colors that they went with for the rest of the figure's body. Speaking of also colors too used, the colorings for his body, you can see as both his arms, his torso, and his lower legs, I find them to be a tad too pale. I would have maybe added a little bit of brown to it, because it seems like the colors are more closer to being a really, really light beige than the more traditional tan color that the Jungle Hunter is known for. Still, the details are certainly quite nicely handled here. You have the little gauntlet computer screen that doesn't actually open up. It's just molded there to his arm. Of course, on the other side, as we already discussed before, he does have the gauntlet blade that can extend out to about there. And then, of course, that can go back in as well. It has really nice paint work, all the additional speckling and fleckling that they've actually added to it. I know that's not really a word, but they have added little drops of black paint that really helps to add some additional personality to the body. Again, my really only takeaway from this paint on a paint level, I like the helmet. I like really the coloring that they went with for the armor. No real complaints at all when it comes to the plasma caster. If anything, I feel like the bones are maybe just too yellow, just a bit too yellow. They almost seem like they're glowing in the dark. I find as well that the coloring of his body is perhaps a little on the tad too light side as well. As for all the rest of the spots, all the additional shadowing that they've added, that's all nice. But I think adding a little more additional brown would have really helped to enrich and just give it the more accurate screen-used colors. Talking about the articulation here on Jungle Hunter version 2, it's going to be a little harder to kind of get his head moving back and forth, being the fact he does have this necklace in place. I'm actually even considering the idea of just removing the helmet right now, removing the head. Maybe not right now, just for the risk I could lose the necklace here. But I did consider the idea of actually just taking this off and removing the necklace completely. I might leave this on and leave this on, but I think the necklace is just too close to his neck. And again, that brighter yellow coloring that they've used, I find is too bright, at least for me at least. So the head does rotate back and forth, other than the fact he's got this restricting collar underneath it. Head looks up, and it looks down, and you can slightly rock it back and forth as well. As for the plasma caster, we've already talked about that. That is on a ball joint, so that you can rotate that back and forth this way, and also up and down. And there is also a hinge joint back and forth here, but just be careful. Don't force that too much, just for the risk that that could break, because there's only little tiny pins that are connecting, keeping it at bay. As for the arms do quite comfortably come out easily at a 90-degree angle bend. You'll be happy to know that the shoulder pads are actually attached up here rather than actually on the shoulders. So when it comes to moving his arms, you can see quite easily you can move those arms out and the shoulders aren't getting in the way. You can bring the arms forward, you can bring the arms back, easily swivel those biceps, as well as the figure does have a double hinge on the elbow. Swivels on the hands as well. Upper torso is on a ball joint. Lower torso as well, concealed underneath the Yaucha skirt, but that also does have a ball joint. You can split the legs out to about, I would say, maybe there. Anything past that point, and that's about as far out as I can get the legs. You take the legs, you can easily move them forward, easily move them back. There's a swivel where that's attached to the ball joint right there. Figure has a double hinge on the knee, and the figure also has articulation in the feet, also back and forth this way. Now again, with the feet, going back to the point I mentioned earlier in this review, while he does have those Predator sandals on the bottoms of his feet, he still doesn't seem like he can be completely level-footed. So I would certainly encourage, if you are looking to pick these pieces up for yourself, especially with the now version 2s, as you get now the bigger, bulkier Predator, the way that I'm loving the look of these Predators as of late, yeah, by all means, use a display stand. It's there after all, right? Make use of a display stand. And certainly if you have more than one Predator, connect them several of them together. Or if you also have yourself some Hiya Toys alien figures, mix them and match them. Mix and change those display stands, and you have yourself quite the large diorama going on here. Like the look of Jungle Hunter version 2 Predator Exquisite Mini. I like as well the fact that Hiya Toys have gone back and given us a bigger, bulkier build, that's a lot of B's, for the Predator, as it really would be. It fits better now with the AVP Predators that we've just looked at as of late. Coloring is a bit off, admittingly, like the bones, for example, a little too yellow for my liking, and I think his skin tone is a tad too pale. Other than that, though, I'm really now happy to get a bigger, as I said, bigger, bulkier build of a Predator that I can finally put on display with the rest of my AVP Predators that we've looked at earlier. I have been collecting Hiya Toys Predator figures for quite some time. You can probably even tell that by the number of videos I've done here on this channel. One thing I did notice, though, with the recent releases of their AVP Predators is the reminder that the earlier Predators that they were doing in the past were a little on the thin side. I kind of thought to myself, and I may have even said it at the time of looking at the AVP Predators, that I hope at some point that they could maybe go back and give us a Jungle and City Hunter Predator, maybe with the bigger builds. Well, sure enough, Hiya Toys does answer the call. Maybe not to my request, but they did answer the call and did give us Jungle Hunter version 2. This one is specifically entitled Battle Damage. I don't see a lot of battle damage happening here on the Predator, but what I certainly do see instead is a bigger looking Predator, the way that would fit in much better, if you ask me, along with the other AVP and some of the more recently released Predators. I don't know if they've yet to do a City Hunter in the same bigger build, but I certainly hope so. While I still am a big fan of those earlier Predators we've got before from Hiya Toys, I'm loving the idea that we're now getting a bigger frame on these, and it works better, especially with the types of joints now that they're using for these figures. The figure does have coloring that's a bit off, in my own personal opinion. The coloring of the bones, as mentioned in this review, a little tad too yellow for my liking. But other than that, really like the look of a classic looking Predator. My ideal Predator, my favorite Predator, the Jungle Hunter. For your video question for today, let me know down below in the comments section, what's your favorite design of Predator? It doesn't have to necessarily be one that has appeared in a movie. It could be one that's appeared in the comics or video games or any other figure of a Predator that's been produced before. What's your favorite design of Predator? Let me know down below in the comments section. And once again, a big thank you to the folks over at Hiya Toys that did in fact provide the sample of Jungle Hunter V2 that we could have a look at in this video. If you guys wanted to check out my earlier reviews of Hiya Toys, popping up at the very end of this will be a playlist that will show you guys all the other Hiya Toys stuff that I've looked at over the years. And also, if you are new and enjoying the content that you guys are seeing, make sure you hit the subscribe button down below. Turn on the bell notification so you get those friendly reminders whenever new videos are popping up. And speaking again of popping up, check out that playlist of Hiya Toys that I've looked at before. Lots of stuff coming your way, including just a friendly bird's going to be whispering in your ear, more Hiya Toys. There's definitely going to be a lot more Hiya Toys reviews. So if you guys are kind of coming to this channel specifically for the Exquisite Minis, definitely stay tuned because there's going to be a lot more coming your way. As always, thanks for watching. See you guys next time.